almost finished. We're supposed to finish by next week. Who turned this all the way up? I sent her an invite. Why is she inviting me to her meeting?
Hello.
Good morning, Christine. How are you?
Good morning. Good. How are you, Miss Elsa?
Good. Do you have a good week?
Yeah.
You have to take your son in tomorrow or for an interview or something for school?
Tomorrow is registration for my son to the new daycare.
Okay,
So
good.
they give me an appointment for tomorrow for the Zoom meeting.
Right.
So yeah, I'm so sorry that
It's okay.
which
No, it's
I
okay.
do.
I have a meeting tomorrow too, so it works out
Oh,
just
really?
fine. Yep,
That's
works out
great.
just fine. Christine, I wanted to tell you we're supposed to finish by next week. So next year in
Yeah.
August, when we start back, we're supposed to have in-person classes at the church in Springfield. But you may not be able to come anyway because you're going to start a new job, right?
Yeah, I don't think
Right.
so, yeah.
Well, I don't know if they'll have any recorded classes online or not. I can let you know when I find out. But
Yeah,
as
okay.
far as I know, we're doing in-person classes at the church starting in August.
Yeah,
Okay. So
okay.
are you excited about starting your new job?
Yeah. I'm excited and I'm scared in the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah, I understand. Apprehensive is the right word.
Yeah. I
Okie
hope to
dokie.
understand what is the job. How can I do? We'll
Just
see.
just remember to ask your coworkers for help.
Yeah, for help. Okay.
That's real important. The people that are doing the same job,
Yes.
ask them about how to do your job better.
I will take 2 days training. So
Oh,
that's
two
enough?
days? 2 days
Yeah.
training? Right.
Yeah.
But the training, the second day, you may be with other people that are doing the same job.
Uh-huh.
So just remember to ask for help if you need it. And not your
Okay.
managers, ask your coworkers first.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Okay, I forgot my pencil. Let me bring it, please.
Okay,
My
go ahead.
pencil, okay?
Okay,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
I think we will finish today. The
We may
last.
fit. We may finish today. Let's see how far we get, but we may
Yes.
finish today. If we don't finish today, we will definitely finish next week. But we very
Okay.
well may finish today. Yeah.
I don't know. It's the next week I will be free or no, because our Easter Orthodox Easter is at May 2nd.
Okay. Well, next week is April 29th.
Yeah, so we celebrate this week before
Oh.
the
Oh.
Easter in the
Oh.
church.
Okay. Okay.
So
This
I hope
coming.
we finish today.
It's okay. For right now, we'll just see if we can finish today. If we don't finish
Yes.
today, then we'll talk about what we need to do. But
Okay.
we're on lesson 5 on page 234.
Yes.
And they say, look at the picture, read the information about Ron and Jim. So there's a picture. Well, let's read what it says. Ron is a manager at Discount Music. One of
Mm.
his employees, Jim, calls the store. He can't work his shift because he has to babysit his niece. It is only an hour before his shift starts. Ron can't find anyone to cover Jim's shift. There are a lot of customers and Ron has to work very hard.
Mm-hmm.
So Ron really needs help in the store.
Yeah.
So here are the questions they ask you. Why can't Jim work his shift?
Uh, because he has a babysit his niece.
His niece, that's right, because he has to babysit his niece. Um, what problems does this cause?
Mm. He didn't have
What are the problems for Ron because Jim couldn't come in?
no, I don't know.
Well,
He can't find anyone to cover Jim's shift.
right, he can't find anyone to cover, and he has to
Yes.
work very hard because he has a lot of customers.
Yeah.
So he has to cover Jim's shift, and then he has to work very hard. Very good. Um, what should employees do if they're going to miss work? You're going to hear a lot about this when you go to your training next week. But
Mm-hmm.
what do you think you should do if you have to miss work?
I call the manager
Yes.
uh uh half hours before 5:30.
Well, whatever they tell you in their meeting. Of course, they want to know as soon as possible so that if they need to get someone to cover, they can. But you'll get more details about that for your job when you go into your training,
Mm-hmm.
days of training. They'll cover things like that. But yes, you need to make sure you call your manager or whoever they tell you to call, but it'll probably be your manager. All right, let's go down to the listen section. Luis and Rachel are coworkers. That's the two people in the picture in the middle of the page.
Mm-hmm.
Um, guess, what do you think they're talking about? Look where they're standing. What's that on the board behind them?
It is a schedule or
Yes,
the
it's a schedule, a work schedule. Very good.
yes.
So, what do you think these two people are talking about?
Uh, they are talking about the time
Yes, the
and
work schedule.
days,
The work schedule.
the
That's
work
exactly
schedule.
right. They're talking about their work schedule.
Yeah.
Good. So, let's listen to the CD
Okay.
and see what they tell us on there. Track 53.
Page 234. Listen. Exercises B and C.
Hi, Rachel. Can I ask you a favor?
Sure. What is it?
I'm on the schedule for Monday, but I can't come in.
Oh, what's up?
I have to study for a test. Can you take my shift for me?
What time do you start?
9:30?
No problem.
Okay, so they were talking about the schedule. You're right. And
Yes.
Luis was asking Rachel to cover his shift.
Yeah.
And so let's look down at C. It says, listen again and answer these questions.
Okay.
So This time we're going to talk about the questions. Louise asked Rachel for a favor. What's the favor? And does Rachel agree? So let's listen one more time and see what they tell us.
Page 229, Conversation. Page 234, Listen. Exercises B and C.
Hi, Rachel. Can I ask you a favor?
Sure. What is it?
I'm on the schedule for Monday, but I can't come in.
Oh, what's up?
I have to study for a test. Can you take my shift for me?
What time do you start?
9:30?
No problem.
Okay. So what was the favor?
He needs somebody, or he need her to cover his shift.
Yes, he asked her to cover the shift. Yes. Does Rachel agree to the favor?
Yes.
Yes, very good. Now the conversation's going to be longer, so we're going to listen again and see what the next thing happens.
Page 234, Listen. Exercise D.
Hi, Rachel. Can I ask you a favor?
Sure. What is it?
I'm on the schedule for Monday, but I can't come in.
Oh, what's up?
I have to study for a test. Can you take my shift for me?
What time do you start?
9:30?
No problem. I can use the extra hours. By the way, who's working that day?
I don't know. Let's check the schedule. Oh, Tim's working that day.
Tim? Oh, definitely. I like working with him.
Okay, so what did they want to know? They're looking at the schedule. What do they
Who
want to know?
is working that day?
Yes, who is working that day? So that's why they were looking at the schedule, was to see who was working that day.
Yeah.
All right, let's turn over to page 235. This time we're going to listen to sentences and then we're going to listen and repeat. Let's look at the pronunciation watch in the box. It says information questions and statements usually end with falling intonation. The voice jumps up on the most important word in the sentence and then goes down at the end. So sometimes the questions go down based on the type of question it is. You know, we talked about intonation going up when it's a question because they want to know something, but in this particular case, the intonation goes down. And I'm not sure how critical that is, but you should pay attention to it so you know it when you see it. So let's listen first and then we'll listen and repeat.
Page 235, Conversation. Exercise A. Listen.
What's up?
I have to study.
What time do you start?
I start at 9:30.
Okay, now repeat.
Listen
Okay.
and repeat.
What's up?
What's up?
I have to study.
I have to study.
What time do you start?
What time do you start?
I start at 9:30.
I start at 9:30.
Very good. So you can see how the intonation goes down. I'm not quite sure I understand why on these questions. Now, what's up? What's up is just kind of a statement. It's like asking somebody what's going on, what's happening. But what's up, it's a very common thing to say when you're just asking about what's going on. Okay? You might even say that to your kids sometimes. What's up?
What's up? Yeah.
All right, now it says listen and repeat the conversation. So now we're going to
Okay.
do a conversation between, I think it's the same two people, Rachel and Louise. So
Yes.
let's listen again. Track 56.
Page 235, Conversation. Exercise B. Listen.
Hi, Rachel. Can I ask you a favor?
Sure. What is it?
I'm on the schedule for Monday, but I can't come in.
Oh, what's up?
I have to study for a test. Can you take my shift for me?
What time do you start?
9:30.
No problem.
Okay, now repeat.
Listen
Yes.
and repeat.
Hi, Rachel. Can I
Hi,
ask you
Rachel.
a favor?
Can I ask you a favor?
Sure. What is it?
Sure. What is it?
I'm on the schedule for Monday, but I can't come in.
I am on the schedule for Monday, but I can't come in.
Oh, what's up?
Oh, what's up?
I have to study for a test.
I have to.
I have to study for a test.
Can you take my shift for me?
Can you take my shift for me?
What time do you start?
What time do you start?
9:30.
9:30?
No problem.
No problem.
Okay. So let's do the practice at the bottom. Now this is one of those where you write in the blanks for red words in the red blank and blue words in the blue blank. I'll start. Let's see.
Okay.
I'll start, and then then we'll switch places.
Okay.
Hi, Christine. Can I ask you a favor?
Sure. What is it?
I'm on the schedule for Monday, but I can't come in.
Oh, what's going on?
What's going on, right?
What's going?
I have to babysit my niece. Can you take my shift for me?
What time do you start?
9:30.
No problem.
Okay, now you start.
Okay. Hi, Miss Elsa. Can I ask you a favor?
Sure, what is it?
I am on the schedule for Monday, but I can't come in.
Oh, why not?
I have to go to the dentist. Can you take my shift for me?
What time do you start?
It's 9:30.
No problem.
Yes.
Okay, so let's that was lesson 5. Let's go on over to lesson 6
Yeah.
on page 236. Let me go over the grammar box with you first before we start. So,
Yeah.
information questions with who.
Mm-hmm.
So, the first one is who works on Mondays?
Who works on Mondays?
Luis and I work on Mondays.
Louise and I work on Mondays.
Who wrote the schedule?
Who wrote the schedule?
Mary wrote the schedule.
Mary wrote the schedule.
Who do I give my timesheet to?
Who do I give my timesheet to?
Give your timesheet to the supervisor.
Give your timesheet to your supervisor.
Who did she see yesterday?
Who did she see yesterday?
She saw Jeff.
She saw Jeff.
In the grammar watch, it says to ask about the subject, use who plus a verb. So they're who questions, or who works, who wrote, who do, and who did. So those are verbs. So there's two who questions followed by a verb. To
Yeah.
ask about the object, use who plus a helping verb plus a subject and a verb.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're asking about the object, like the timesheet, you're going to use who plus
Mm-hmm.
a helping verb, which is the do or did. I is the subject, and give is the next verb. So you're using the do, I, give. That's a
Mm-hmm.
who plus a helping verb plus a subject plus a verb.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, in the practice, it says put the words in order. So they've given you the words you need to use, but they want you to put them in order.
Mm-hmm.
So they did the first one for you. Who needs extra hours? One of the things that you'll find when you're working, Christine, is a lot of times you can't just switch shifts with somebody or ask someone to cover your shift because it may cause that person to have overtime, and
Yeah.
management may not want them to have overtime.
Yeah.
So, because it costs them more money to pay overtime hours.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to pay you'll need to pay attention to that, whether or not you can even ask somebody to cover a shift. You may have to go through your supervisor simply because they don't want anybody to have overtime hours because that costs management more money. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so they did the first one for you. Why don't you try number 2? Now
Um.
remember, these are all going to be who questions, so you know they're going to start with who.
Um. Who? Uh. Who do I ask about sick time?
Very good. Who do I ask about sick time? That's exactly right. Who do I ask about sick time? And they'll probably cover that in your training. Do you want to try number 3?
Yes. Um. Who? Uh. Who does? Who makes up the schedule?
Exactly. Who makes up the schedule? Very good. Who makes up the schedule? Number 4. Remember, they start with who.
Yeah. Who do I call about trading shifts?
Very good. Who do I call about trading shifts? That's one of the things they'll probably want you to call a manager for something like that.
Yeah.
And number 5.
Who goes on break at 10:45 a.m.?
Exactly. Who goes on break at 10:45? Very good. Very good. All right, let's go down to part B. I have to take this call, Christine.
It's
Give me
okay.
just
It's
a
okay.
minute.
Okay.
Hey, Andrew, what's up? Very good. I do not have a Tennessee flag. We're going to be at Springfield Baptist. They're going to have an American flag in the fellowship hall, but I don't have a Tennessee flag. Not that I'm aware of. I've never seen one. And besides, it would probably say Warioto on it, which isn't our district. Yes, and I've got a scout coming. I left you a voicemail. Okay. He's a Weeblo scout. Well, he can do all of that, and he was going to do a prayer too. So he's a real good young man, and he's homeschooled. So I told him to be there at 11:30, so he can kind of go over everything, and so we'll see you tomorrow around 11:30. All right, thanks, Andrew. Take care. Bye. I'm back, Christine. I'm sorry.
It's
It's
okay.
about our luncheon tomorrow, and I had to make some arrangements for it. So, all right. So we are on part B. Write questions with who to ask for the underlined information. So the first one they did for you, who needs a favor? The underlined information was Bill. So they're asking, who needs a favor? Bill needs a favor. So on the next one, the answer is I usually work with Jung Soo. So what would be the question?
So the question is, who do I work with?
Who do you usually work with? Who
Yes.
do you usually work
Usually
with?
work
I
with. Yes.
usually work with Jung Soo. You see it?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. The next one, the answer is Jim needs to call his supervisor. What's the question?
So who does Jim need to call?
Absolutely. Very, very good. Who does Jim need to call? He needs to call his supervisor. Very good. And the next one says they need to see Fran.
So Who needs
Who do
they?
Who do they?
Oh, okay. Who do they need to see?
Very good. Who do they need to see? They need to see Fran. Very good. Who do they need to see? They need to see Fran. And number 5?
Um, who did help, or who did they?
No, you don't need the do in this one. Who helped you out? Who helped you out? Jose and Carlos helped me out. So
Who
who helped you out?
helped
Who helped you out?
you out? Okay.
Who helped you out? So you're using the same
Mm-hmm.
um, last part of the statement in your question, but me is going to change to you. So who helped you out?
Yeah.
Jose and Carlos helped me out.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Another grammar box at the top of page 237.
Mm-hmm.
Repeat after me. What time does my shift begin?
What time does my shift begin?
Which days do I have off this week?
Which days do I have off this week?
I guess I should give you the answers at the same time. Let's go
Yeah.
back to the first one.
Okay.
What time does my shift begin?
What time does my shift begin?
At 3 p.m.
At 3 p.m.
Which days do I have off this week?
Which days do I have off this week?
Thursday and Friday.
Saturday and Friday.
When did you start your break?
When did you start your break?
5 minutes ago.
5 minutes ago.
Where do we go to clock in?
Where do we go to clock in?
The break room.
The break room.
Very good. Now let's do the practice. Complete the conversations. Write information questions. Use what time, which, when, where, and the words in parentheses. So the first one they did for you, the answer was Tuesday. The question is, which day do you have off?
Yeah.
Which day do you have off? And the answer was Tuesday.
Yeah.
And number 2, the answer is at 3 p.m. What is the
So,
question?
when did you
No, when
start?
does my...
When does my shift start?
Right, they gave you my shift and start. See, they gave you those words at the beginning? So
Yeah.
it's when does my shift start? And it starts at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3, the answer's after 6 months on the job, and they gave you some of the words, so the question's going to be a when question.
I get a vacation after 6 months. So, when do you get a vacation?
When do I get a vacation? See the I in the answers?
Mm-hmm.
When do I get a vacation?
When do I get a vacation?
After 6 months on the job. And they'll cover those kinds of things in your training.
Oh my God.
This
The
is
6
just giving you,
months?
but see, the fact that we're talking about this now will really help you when you go in for your training, because you'll have an idea of what kinds of questions are important.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, number 4, the answer is outside the employee break room. The time clock is on the wall. So they gave you I and clock in, so the question's going to be a where question.
Yes. Where do I clock in?
Very good. That's exactly right. Where do I clock in? Very good. And number 5, the answer is at 10:15 and 2:30. Check with your supervisor. And it's about we get breaks. So this is going to be a what time
Yes.
or a when. It could be a what time or a when, but go ahead and try the question.
What time do we get breaks?
Very good. At 10:15 and 2:30. So that's another kind of thing that they will cover in your training. In this bottom thing, they want you to talk about work schedules. This can be kind of a complex exercise. If you want to go over that and look at it so you can get an idea
Yes.
of what kind of questions you might have about a schedule. They may not always tell you what time your breaks are. Your breaks may be at a certain time always. See, they listed breaks in this schedule, which you may not have them listed on your schedule when you go to work.
Mm-hmm.
The place that you're going to work, Christine, do they operate
Yes.
7 days a week? Christine,
Yes, ma'am.
do
I'm
they
sorry.
operate 7 days a week at the place where you're going to work?
7 days. I will work from Monday to Friday and every other Saturday.
Okay, okay. So they do operate 6 days a week. They're probably closed on
Yes.
Sundays. Do they have shifts? Do you have first shift, second shift?
I'm in the second shift.
Second shift.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. All right. So let's go go to our workbooks. On page 140 in the workbook. Part A is complete the conversations. Write questions with who, what time, which, where, and the words in parentheses. So they're giving you some words to use when you write your questions. So
Okay.
I want you to write the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, they gave you the answer. I think Eric worked on Saturday and Marta worked on Sunday. So the question was, who worked last weekend?
Last week. Yes.
Weekend. The weekend is Saturday and Sunday. Okay?
Yeah.
So who worked last weekend? Number 2, the answer is at 9:30 a.m. you and Mike are opening the store. So what is the question?
When my shift begin?
When
does my
when
shift
does my shift begin tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Or what time? Either one of those would be correct. What time does my shift begin tomorrow? Or
Yeah.
when does my shift begin tomorrow? At 9:30 a.m. you and Mike are opening the store.
Yeah.
Number 3, the answer is I called Mike. He said he could work my shift on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Who
Who did
does
you who did you call?
Yes. Who did you call?
Because it says I called Mike, so we're talking to the person. So we say
Mm-hmm.
who did you call? I called Mike. The answer helps you to know you're asking who did you call, okay?
Yeah.
About trading shifts. Now, they'll tell you in training who you need to call about whether you can or cannot trade or who you talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 says, I prefer the morning shift. I have to be home with my children at night.
So, when?
No, what shift?
What shift? Yes. I'm sorry. What shift does you
Do
prefer? Do you prefer?
Right. I think we covered do and did, but if we have time, we'll go over those again because it's I do, he did, they
Yeah.
do, she does, he does. Those are irregular and you just have to learn them. There's not any easy way to say when you use which ones of those
Mm-hmm.
verbs. It's
What
really
shift?
difficult. So, which shift? Were we on 4? Which shift do you
Yes.
prefer? I prefer the morning shift. Number 5 says at a warehouse I work there part-time on weekends. So what's the question? It's talking about I, so you're asking a you
When?
question. So I think it's a where. He says he
Where?
works at a warehouse, so we're going to say where
Yeah. Where
do
do you work?
right
On Saturday.
on Saturdays? Where do you work on Saturdays? At a warehouse. I work there part-time on weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 says the store closes at 9 p.m., but you need to stay until 10 to help clean up. So what's the question?
So when
What
does
time does
the store close?
what time does the store close tonight? Or when does the store close tonight? That would
Yeah.
be when does the store close tonight? The store closes at 9 p.m., but you need to stay until 10 to help clean up.
And
Okay.
when we put does in the questions, we should remove the S in the clause, right?
In the verb.
The verb, yes.
Right, sometimes. Um, that's a very difficult. Let me see if I can find. I'm trying to see if there's a. Where it covers use of do and does and did. And I don't know where it's going to be. I don't see it right now. If I can find where it is in the book,
Yeah.
Christine, I will. I'll point it out to you because that's something that really it just takes a lot of practice.
Yes.
It's probably in a lot of the grammar boxes throughout the book.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to just. This book doesn't seem to have a glossary about do
It's okay.
or how to find how you use the verb do. Here's some on. Look at page 286
The workbook,
in the
the
big book.
grammar,
In the big book on page 286, there's a grammar
286.
reference.
Yes.
It says negative contractions with do. I do not, you do not, he does not,
Mm-hmm.
she does not, and that works for in the affirmative as well. So I do, you do, he does, she does.
Yeah.
So that's in the present tense. In the past tense, it's usually did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you use did mostly in the past tense.
Yeah.
This is I do, you do, he does, she does, they do, we do. So that might help you a little bit. If you want to mark
Yeah.
that page, there may be some others, but that's the one I found. I don't see any other place where they just talk about do and does. So that might help you. A thing that I've always told my students in the past is you can always just go through your book, the big book, and look
Mm-hmm.
for the grammar boxes, the little purple
Yeah.
boxes at the top of the page, and
Mm-hmm.
just review your grammar boxes, and that'll help you a lot with how to use words properly in a sentence or a question.
Okay. Yes.
All right, let's go to the workbook.
Mm-hmm.
Ask a coworker to cover your hours, and we already started this. Um, did we? How far did we get, Christine?
I'm sorry.
What?
Is that we are in the exercise B?
B. Well, we're not going to do B because that's
Yes, the CD.
my CD doesn't work. You're
Yeah.
welcome to do those with the CD and your workbook if
Yes.
you want to, but I can't play mine. So
Okay.
let's go over to exercise C at the top of page 141. Complete the conversations. Ask about the underlined information. Write information questions with who, what time, when, which, and where.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one they did for you, the answer was I have Friday and Sunday off. So the question was, which days do you have off?
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, the answer is I usually take my break at 3:30. So what's the question?
So, when does, sorry, when do you usually
when
take your
do you
break?
usually take your break? It could also be what time do you usually take your break? Either when or what time would be correct. When do
Usually.
you usually take your break?
Mm-hmm.
So again, you're asking, do you? When do you?
Yeah.
Number 3, the answer is Daniel traded shifts with me today. I'm going to work for him tomorrow.
So, who trade shift with you?
Yes, who traded shifts with you? And you could say today, but you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Who traded shifts with you? Daniel traded shifts with me today.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, the answer is store the safety gear in the cabinet. You can't take it home.
So the safety gear. Where
This is going to
where
be a
does
where. This one's going to be a where because it says in the cabinet.
mm-hmm.
That's what they underlined was in the cabinet.
Yeah,
So your question is going to be a where question.
yes, where, yeah. Where's this where does the safety gear
Or where do you store the safety
yes.
gear? Where do you store?
Where do you yes store the gear safety gear?
Yes. You store the safety gear in the cabinet. You can't take it home.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of command type statements where they're telling you to do something like close the door or take out the garbage. All those statements have an implied you at the beginning, but they don't always put the you in the statement.
Mm-hmm.
But they're command statements, so they almost always have an implied you, which would help you with your question if you realize I'm telling you to store the safety gear in the cabinet, so where do you store the safety gear? Does that help?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, number 5, I need time off on Monday and Tuesday. I need to visit my mother in the hospital. What's the question?
Um, uh, when do you need
Time off.
time off?
Very good. When do you need time off? When do you need time off? Very good. All right, we're going to look at another work schedule and answer the questions. And again, I don't know that most work schedules include a break time in the schedule, but these do. So let's look at this and then we'll answer the questions at the bottom. It says, what time does Victor start work? So you find Victor in the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he always starts work at 7. So what time does Victor start work? At 7 a.m.
At 7 a.m.
Okay, number 2 is when does Anna take a break? So let's go look at Anna. When does she take a break?
At 2 or
Anna
from 2
takes
to
her
3.
break at 2 o'clock. So you could
Yeah.
just answer it with at 2 p.m. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, which days does Franco have off?
Monday. Every Monday
And
and Friday.
you don't have to say every, you can just say Monday and Friday.
Monday.
Because we're
Yes.
just talking about this schedule and it may change from week to week.
Yes.
So this one says Franco has off Monday and Friday.
Yes.
Number 4, what time does Anna get off work?
Monday and Tuesday.
No. What time?
What
Does
time?
she get off every day? What time does she leave work every day?
Yeah. Every day. At 4 o'clock, 4 p.m.
At 4 p.m. Very good. At 4 p.m. She gets off work at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Number 5 says who works on Friday? So we go look at the Friday schedule.
Victor and Anna.
Yes, Victor and Anna. Who does not work on Friday?
Franco.
Franco, that's exactly right. Who does not work on Friday? Franco. Where does Franco work? You have to look all the way over to the left where you
Yeah.
find his name. Where does he
At the
work?
grocery department.
He works in the grocery department. Very good. And which employee has Sunday off?
Sunday. Victor.
Very good, Victor. Victor has Sunday off. Okay, let's go back to the big book. Look at the pictures. Read about Fran and Al and why did they stop working? Fran is 70 years old. She is retired. She stopped working in 2007. Al can't work. He was in an accident and now he is disabled.
Mm-hmm.
So why did they stop working?
Fran because she is retired.
Right? Fran
And
because she retired.
L because he is disabled.
Right. Al because he is disabled. Very good. Social Security is a government program. What do you know about it? Let's look at this reading skill before we read.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what you know. Before you read, think about what you already know about the topic. This information will help you understand the article. What do you already know about Social Security?
Social Security is the U.S. government number.
It's a
It's private for everyone.
it's an organization that pays people who are retired
Yeah.
because when you're working, you pay into Social Security. They'll take a deduction out of your check, every paycheck that says for Social Security, and you pay into this program. And then
Yeah.
when you retire, the government will pay you
Yeah.
a certain amount of money based on how long you worked and how much you earned and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what Social Security is for. It also pays people who are disabled. If somebody becomes disabled and can no longer work, they
Mm-hmm.
can draw a Social Security pension for
Mm-hmm.
disability.
Yeah.
Okay? All
Okay.
right, so let's look at this Social Security. FAQ stands for Frequently Asked Questions.
Mm-hmm.
So let's listen to the track on the CD. I think they're going to read this. So follow along as they read it, and then we'll read it together.
Okay.
57.
Page 238. Read.
Social Security frequently asked questions. What is Social Security? Social Security is a U.S. government program. It pays money, benefits, to people age 62 or older who have retired. It also provides money for people who can't work because of a disability. How did Social Security start? The U.S. government created Social Security in 1935 to help needy Americans. At that time, many Americans were poor. People had to work their whole lives. People who were too old or too sick to work had to get help from family members. People without families had a difficult time. How does Social Security work? Workers pay a Social Security tax. The money is automatically taken out of each paycheck. This money is used to pay the benefits of people who are retired or disabled today. How much do people pay? Workers pay 6.2% of their earnings. Their employers pay another 6.2%. Self-employed workers pay 12.4% of their earnings. Can everyone get Social Security benefits? No. To get Social Security payments, you have to work and pay Social Security taxes for a total of 10 years. Can a non-citizen of the United States get Social Security benefits? Yes. Any person who works legally in the U.S. and pays Social Security taxes for 10 years can get benefits. Does everyone get the same amount? No. People who work longer and pay more Social Security taxes get a bigger retirement benefit. The average Social Security payment is now over $1,000 a month.
Okay. Do you want me to read this again, or are you happy with
No.
that? Okay.
No, it's okay.
All right, let's go down to check your understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Read the FAQ again and read the statements and circle true or false so we can refer back to this article.
Okay.
So the first one says the U.S. government created the Social Security program in 1935.
Yes,
So look
true.
back. Okay, true. So circle true.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 says every retired person in the U.S. gets Social Security benefits.
Yes, true.
No, false.
No.
So can everyone
Only.
get Social Security benefits? No. To get Social Security benefits, you have to work and pay Social Security
10.
taxes for a total of 10 years.
Yeah.
So the answer to that one is no.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, you have to work a total of 20 years to get Social Security benefits.
No, false. 10.
That's correct. That's false. It's 10 years. Very good. Number 4, only U.S. citizens can get Social Security benefits.
False.
False. So anybody who works 10 years and pays into Social Security can draw
Yeah.
Social Security. And number 5, everyone gets the same Social Security payment?
False.
False. That's right. It's based on how long you worked and how much you paid in.
Yeah.
And when you retire.
And also when you retire. That's not in
Yeah.
these FAQ though. All right, look at those bold-faced questions. Okay, we don't need to do that again. All right, that's lesson 7. Let's go back to the workbook.
Mm-hmm.
And in the workbook, before you read, it says look at the title of the article and the picture. Think about what you already know about the topic.
Mm-hmm.
And what is important for success at work. So write 3 tips. So they've given you tips for success at work. That's the title of the article. And then they gave you 5 tips in the article. So they want you to write down 3 of those tips for things that would help you at work. 1 was know your responsibilities. 2 was get along with your coworkers. 3 was stay busy. 4 was learn from your mistakes. And 5 was look for ways to learn new skills.
Mm-hmm.
So choose 3 of those and write them on those lines.
Yes.
I cannot play the track, but I'm going to read this.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to just read it, or would you like to repeat after me?
Okay.
I think it helps you to repeat
Yeah.
after me and read the words. It helps you with your reading skills.
Okay.
Tips for success at work.
Tips for successes at work.
Have you ever noticed that some people have a talent for doing well at work?
Have you ever noticed that some people have a talent for doing well at work?
These coworkers always seem to get ahead.
These co-workers always seem to get ahead.
They get the best work schedules and the most overtime hours.
They get the best work schedules and the most overtime hours.
They get promoted quickly to positions with better pay and more responsibilities.
They get promoted quickly to positions with better pay and more responsibilities.
Want to learn the secrets of these star employees?
Want to learn the secrets of these star employees?
Being successful at work is more than just completing your job duties.
Being successful at work is more than just completing your job duties.
Here are 5 tips for workplace success.
Here are 5 tips for workplace success.
1. Know your responsibilities.
1. Know your responsibilities.
Make sure you understand what your supervisor expects you to do.
Make sure you understand what your supervisor expects you to do.
Don't be afraid to ask questions if you don't understand your work assignments.
Don't be afraid to ask questions if you don't understand your work assignments.
It's better to ask questions than to waste time doing your job wrong.
It is better to ask questions than to waste time doing your job wrong.
Very good. Number 2, get along with your coworkers.
Get along with your coworkers.
Be friendly and treat your coworkers with respect.
Be friendly and treat your coworkers with respect.
Give your coworkers a hand when they need help.
Give your coworkers a hand when they need help.
Offer to train new employees.
Offer to train new employees.
3, stay busy.
Stay busy.
If you finish your work early, find something else to do.
If you finish your work early, find something else to do.
For example, use the time to clean up your area or store your equipment.
For example, use the time to clean up your area or store your equipment.
Don't wait for the boss to tell you what to do.
Don't wait for the boss to tell you what to do.
If you see something that needs to be done, go ahead and do it.
If you see something that needs to be done, go ahead and do it.
4, learn from your mistakes.
4, learn from your mistakes.
Nobody likes to be told they are doing something wrong.
Nobody likes to be told they are doing something wrong,
but try to see this as a chance to learn something.
but try to see this as a chance to learn something.
Ask your supervisor for suggestions on how you can do better next time.
Ask your supervisor for suggestions on how you can do better next time.
Look for ways to learn new skills.
Look for ways to learn new skills.
Volunteer for company training programs.
Volunteer for company training programs.
Ask other workers to show you how to do things.
Ask other workers to show you how to do things.
Don't be afraid to try new things.
Don't be afraid to try new things.
What's the purpose of this article?
How to success at work.
To help people become successful at work.
Yeah.
So it's letter A. At the top of the next page, letter A is the right answer.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's right. You
The
didn't
next one.
realize I had gone up to the next page.
Yeah.
To help people become
People become
successful at work.
successful. Yes.
That's letter A. So circle letter A. Complete the tips with information from the article. So they've given you some of the words and they want you to finish filling them in.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to what if you don't understand your what.
Don't be afraid to ask your supervisor
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
questions. Yeah, to ask questions. If you don't understand your assignment,
Your work assignments. If you look at number 1, that's the second sentence. It says, don't be afraid to ask questions if you don't understand your work assignments. So that was in tip number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, give your what a hand if they need. So number 2 was get along with your coworkers.
Yes, give your coworkers a hand when they need help.
Yes, when they need help. Very good. Give your coworkers a hand when they need help. And number 3 was stay busy if you
finish your work early.
If you finish your work early,
find something else to do.
Very good. Find something else to do. Number 4 was ask your
supervisor for suggestion.
Absolutely.
Supervisor.
On how you can do better.
How you can do better next time.
Very good. Next time. And number 5 was don't be
afraid to try new things.
Very good.
To try new things.
Don't be afraid to try new things. All right, we're going to read these sentences in part C and match the employee's behavior with one of the 5 tips from the article. So we're familiar with those 5 tips. Now this one's number 1 says, Kyle got a job as a stock clerk in a drugstore. On his first day, his supervisor told him to stock aisle 3. Kyle wasn't sure how to find the price for each item. He went back to his supervisor and asked for help. So which one is that?
2?
No, I think it was tip number 1. Tip number 1. Because he wasn't sure he understood what he was supposed to do. That's know your responsibilities. So go back and ask. Don't be afraid to ask questions if you don't understand. So he didn't understand, so he went back and asked questions. So that's number 1. So number 1 is number 1. Number 2, Jeanette is a food service worker at a cafeteria. Her boss asked her to prepare the food in the salad bar. After she finished, she noticed that many of the tables were dirty. She took a wet towel and cleaned the tables. So which one was that?
Stay busy. Number 3.
Yes, number 3. Stay busy. When you finish your work and then you find something else to do. Very good. That was number 3. Number 3 says Anita is an office assistant. This week her company will give a class on how to use a new computer program. Anita isn't good with computers, so she enrolled in the course. She thinks it will help her be a better employee.
It's number 5. Looks for
Yes.
ways to learn.
Yes. Number 5. Look for ways to learn new skills. Very good. Number 4 says Anthony works in a warehouse. Yesterday, Anthony's supervisor told him that he was working too slowly. At first, Anthony was embarrassed and angry, but when he asked his supervisor for advice, his supervisor gave him some tips, and now Anthony is doing better.
Hmm. It's number 2. Get along with your coworker.
I think this one is number 4. Learn
Yeah,
from your
learn from your
mistakes.
yes.
Because he told him he was going too slow, so he found ways to do better. So I
Yes.
think that's number 4. And the last one, number 5, says Myung Hee started working at the Greenville Cafe 4 years ago. Last week, a new waitress named Kim started working at the cafe.
Mm-hmm.
Myung Hee introduced Kim to all of the other workers. She showed her how to clock in and helped her when she had questions. That one is number 2.
Yes, the
Get along
number
with your
2.
coworkers. She was
Mm-hmm.
helping a new employee, so she was doing what she
Yeah.
needed to get along with coworkers.
Yes.
Okay, let's go back to the big book. Lesson 8, request a schedule change. Look at some reasons that people change their work schedules. So the first picture, she says, my son is starting school. So when her son started school, she could work a different schedule, right?
Yes.
You're already familiar with that because you're already looking for a place to put your youngest son
Yes.
so that you can work and know that he'll be taken care of.
Yes.
So my son is starting school is a reason you might want to change your work schedule.
Mm-hmm.
The second picture says, I'm taking classes now.
Mm-hmm.
So he might need to change his schedule because he's taking classes. The next one, my wife needs the car during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So he wants to work different hours. And the last one, my husband's work schedule changed, so she needed to change her hours, probably to take care of children. You
Yeah.
don't want to work the exact same schedule so that you have time for somebody to watch your children. At the bottom it says, look at the picture of Linda and Ron. Linda and Ron are in this picture. What is their relationship?
An employee
They're
and a manager.
co-workers. I suspect that one is an employee and one is a manager.
Yes.
Okay, so the answer to letter A is probably letter B, an employee and
Yes,
a
B.
manager.
Employee and manager. Yes.
All right, so let's listen to the CD, and Linda and Ron are having a conversation, and let's see if we guessed correctly. So this is track 58.
Page 240. Listen. Exercises B and C.
Excuse me, Ron. Can I speak to you for a minute?
Sure, Linda. What's up?
I need to talk to you about my schedule.
Okay. Right now you work in the mornings, right?
Yes, but I'm planning to take classes now. Could I change to evenings?
Well, let me look at the schedule. I'll get back to you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so did we guess right? Yes, we guessed that Linda was the employee and she was talking to Ron, the manager, right? All right, so let's look at part C. It says to answer these questions. The first is, why does Linda need to talk to Ron? When does Linda work now? When does she want to work? And why does she ask for a schedule change? So let's listen again and we're going to answer those questions.
Page 240. Listen. Exercises B and C.
Excuse me, Ron. Can I speak to you for a minute?
Sure, Linda. What's up?
I need to talk to you about my schedule.
Okay. Right now you work in the mornings, right?
Yes, but I'm planning to take classes now. Could I change to evenings?
Well, let me look at the schedule. I'll get back to you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so the first question was, why does Linda need to talk to Ron?
She talked about Why? She talk
She
about, yeah,
she needs to change her
to
schedule.
change the schedule. Yes. She needs to change her schedule.
And when does Linda work now?
In morning,
Mornings, that's right. Mornings. And when does she want to work?
evening,
Yes. So that's like changing from first shift to second shift.
yeah.
And number 4, why does she ask for a schedule change?
She's planning to take classes, to
Yes,
take
she's
class.
planning to take classes. Very good. So now we're going to listen to another track on the CD, which is the same conversation, only
Yes.
expanded.
Okay.
So,
Page
oops,
241,
I went too far.
Conversation. Page 240, Listen. Page 240, Listen. Exercise D.
Excuse me, Ron. Can I speak to you for a minute?
Sure, Linda. What's up?
I need to talk to you about my schedule.
Okay. Right now you work in the mornings, right?
Yes, but I'm planning to take classes now. Could I change to evenings?
Well, let me look at the schedule. I'll get back to you.
Okay, thanks.
By the way, what classes are you planning to take?
Business classes. Someday I want to be a manager.
Oh, that's great. Let me know if I can help.
Okay, so they expanded the conversation a little bit. What kind of classes is Linda
It's
going to
business
take?
classes,
Very
business
good.
class.
Very good. Business classes. All right, we're going to go over to the next page. It says listen and repeat the conversation. I think it's the same conversation again, but
Yes.
let's listen and repeat this one.
Page 241, Conversation. Listen.
Excuse me, Ron. Can I speak to you for a minute?
Sure,
Excuse
Linda.
me.
What's up?
First, we're going to
I
listen.
need to
Then we'll
talk to you
Okay.
about my schedule.
Okay. Right now you work in the mornings, right?
Yes, but I'm planning to take classes now. Could I change to evenings?
Well, let me look at the schedule. I'll get back to you.
Okay, thanks.
Now we'll repeat.
Listen and repeat.
Excuse me, Ron.
Excuse me, Ron.
Excuse me, Ron.
Can I speak to you for a minute?
Can I speak to you for a minute?
Sure, Linda. What's up?
Sure, Linda. What's up?
I need to talk to you about my schedule.
I need to talk to you about my schedule.
Okay. Right now you work in the mornings, right?
Okay, right now you work in the morning, right?
Yes, but I'm planning to take classes now.
Yes.
Yes, but I'm planning to take classes now.
Could I change to evenings?
Could I change to evenings?
Well, let me look at the schedule.
Well, let me look at the schedule.
I'll get back to you.
I will get back to you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks.
This is the end of.
All right, now we're going to go down and do the practice at the bottom. Practice the conversation, then make new conversations. And you're going to fill in the blanks with blue, green, and red.
Okay.
Um, I'll, I'll start with A and then we'll switch places.
Okay.
Excuse me, Christine, can I speak to you for a minute?
Sure, Miss Elsa, what's up?
I need to talk to you about my schedule.
Okay, right. Now you work the second shift, right?
Yes, but Tuesdays and Thursdays.
No, the
Yes, but
green.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
No, I think the green is
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
but
okay.
I'm sorry. Okay, you read, okay, I got mixed up. So you read that I'm working second shift, and I said yes, but my daughter's starting school. Could
Yeah.
I change to the first shift?
Well, let me look at the schedule. I will get back to you.
Okay, thanks. All right, now we'll switch.
Yeah, I know. It's too.
You start.
Okay. Excuse me, Miss Elsa. Can I speak to you for a minute?
Sure, what's up?
I need to talk to you about my schedule.
Okay. Right now you work Tuesdays and Thursdays, right?
Yes, but my hours changed at my other shop. Could I change it to Monday and Wednesday?
Well, let me look at the schedule. I'll get back to you.
Okay, thanks.
Very good.
Yeah.
So
Miss
let
Elsa, could I go to the bathroom
Yes,
very
go.
quick?
Absolutely
Thank you.
go. We're almost finished. We're going to do lesson 9 in the workbook, and then we'll be done with the whole book.
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry.
You're fine. All right, we're going to go over to page 242,
Mm-hmm.
and let's read the grammar box.
Mm-hmm.
Can I speak to you?
Can I speak to you?
Sure.
Sure.
Could I change to evenings?
Could I change to evenings?
Of course.
Of course.
Can I have Friday off?
Can I have Friday off?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Right, in the grammar watch it says could is more formal than can to ask permission. And I have a problem with the book on this because when you're asking permission you don't use can, you use may.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really an incorrect use of this word. You really
Mm-hmm.
should use the word may. You might want to write that in your book,
Mm-hmm.
may instead of can. But they're
Mm-hmm.
telling you that could I is more formal.
Formal.
So answer a could permission question with can. Um, I think it should be may again. But
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, anytime you're talking about permission, you should use the word may, M-A-Y, not can. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
use can in the book, but may is really more
Formal.
correct. More correct. Can is can is about ability, and
Yes.
may is about permission. And this
Yeah.
is specifically asking permission.
Yeah.
So may is a much more correct way to ask permission than can.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
You should use the word may, M-A-Y.
So I supposed to say may I
May I speak to
change
you? May I speak to you?
or may I change
Or may I
to
change?
evening?
Yes. Or may I have Friday off? Yes. All of those you should use may I instead of can I.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to hear people say can I all the time because it's a common misuse of the word.
Yeah.
So you're going to hear it that way, but that's not the most correct way. The
Mm-hmm.
most correct way is to say, may I speak to you? May I
May.
change my schedule? May I have Friday off? It's
Mm-hmm.
always going to be may I. Okay?
Yes.
So a better way to ask these questions is, may I speak to you, could I change to evenings, or may I have Friday off. So you can use could or may. Either one is correct,
Yes.
but may is much more correct than can.
Yes.
And in the responses, it should be yes, you may.
Yes.
Like if somebody asks permission to use something at your workstation, you might say yes, you may.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're asking to use something that you have at your workstation, you could say yes, you may, or no, I need that right now, or something to that effect. So you have different ways to answer questions, but can is not nearly as correct as may.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily wrong. You're going to hear people use it all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but it's much more correct to use may rather than can when you're asking permission.
Yeah.
If you're talking about ability, but can I climb that mountain? Well, yes, maybe you can. I don't know. But
Okay.
the can is more about ability,
Yeah.
and may is more about permission.
Okay.
All right, let's look at these conversations and
Mm-hmm.
write questions with can or could. And again, I think you should be using may instead of can. So why don't you
Yeah.
just cross out can and write may, M-A-Y, and we'll just use may instead of can, just because it's more correct.
Okay.
I'd like for you to see using may. And that first answer is can I take a break now? You want to say may I.
May I?
May I take a break now? So wherever you see that can, we're going to change it to may.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the answer was sure, you can take a break, but please wait till Marlena comes back. So sometimes they don't want two people to go at the same time so that wherever they're working is covered.
Yes.
Number 2, the answer is sure, no problem. We can trade shifts on Friday. So what is the question?
So, may we trade shifts on Friday?
Yes, can might be correct here. And the reason I say that because this is about ability. So can would
So,
be correct here because this is
can.
about ability. Are you
Mm-hmm.
able to trade shifts? Do you have a conflict? So
Mm-hmm.
can would be correct in this particular case
So,
because it's about ability
yes.
rather than permission. You see the difference?
Yes. Can we trade shifts on Friday?
Yes, because this is about ability. Are you able to trade shifts on Friday? And that's a way you can see which one's correct, Christine. Ask if you can say, are you able? And then you'll know whether can is correct or whether may is correct.
Yeah.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah.
And it's a very common thing that people get wrong all the time. So using can is not wrong.
Yeah.
It's just, it's more
It's a
correct to
verse.
use may when you're asking permission. But in
Yes.
this case, because they're trading shifts, it may be about ability. Are you
Mm-hmm.
able to trade shifts? So it could be can.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's look at, so we could say, can we trade shifts on Friday, or may we trade shifts on Friday? Number 3, I'm sorry, but you can't have Friday off. We need you on Friday. So what was the question?
Can I have Friday off?
That
Or
would be
may
okay, or could I? In this
could I?
case, you could say, could I have Friday off?
Mm-hmm. Could I? Mm-hmm.
Number 4, the answer is yes, we can talk about the schedule. Come into my office. What's the question? And this one is going to be could.
May
This one's going to
could
be could.
could we talk about the schedule?
And that's again because it's more formal. And you look at the grammar watch up at the top, could is more formal than can.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
number 5.
could we talk about the schedule?
Yes. Could we talk about the schedule? Number 5, the answer is sorry, I can't cover your hours tomorrow. I have plans. This is again about ability.
Could
So can is
can
correct here because it's about ability.
yeah. Can you cover my hours tomorrow?
Yes. Can you cover my hours tomorrow? I can't. I have plans. Number 6, the answers go ahead. You can leave a little early tonight. We're not that busy.
You can leave a little early.
This
Go
is a
ahead.
could. This is a
Could
could question.
could you leave a little
Could I?
early?
Could
Could
I?
I leave a little early tonight?
Yes. You could leave a little early tonight. We're not that busy.
Could I
Num-
leave
a little early.
later?
And number 7, the answer is okay, I think I can give you more hours next week. I'll see what I can do. So what's the question? Again, could is more formal, so could would be
Yes.
correct here.
Could I um could you give me more hours next week?
That would be correct, yes, or could I have more hours next week? So
Yeah.
either one would be correct. Yes, very good.
Yeah.
This is asking permission, and it specifically says you're asking permission, so you would probably use may I.
Okay.
May I use your dictionary? May I borrow your pen? May I copy your notes?
Borrow.
So borrow, that's ask somebody if you can use
Yes.
something they have, you're borrowing.
Yes.
So may I borrow your pen?
Mm-hmm.
And may I copy your notes? Those are common questions in a classroom setting.
Yes.
May I use your dictionary? May I borrow your pen? May I copy your notes?
Yes.
All right, let's go back to the workbook for lessons 8 and 9.
But we didn't finish the grammar. Or this what? This is the review?
That's
Okay.
the review. So let's do the workbook
Yes,
pages
okay.
first, and then we'll go over the review.
Yeah,
Because the
okay.
review is over the whole unit.
Mm-hmm.
So complete the conversations, put the words in order, write questions with can or could.
Mm-hmm.
So they're giving you the words they want you to use. You just have to put them in the right order.
Okay.
So it says, can I talk to you for a moment? Of
Yeah.
course. What's up? Try number 2.
Could you cover my shift next Saturday?
Sure, I need the extra money. Number 3.
Just a minute. Could you cover?
I'm sorry, go ahead and write.
I'm sorry. Could you cover my shift next Saturday? Okay. Sure, I need the extra. Could you help me store the equipment?
Very good. Could you help me store the equipment? Could you help me store the equipment?
The equipment.
Okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you about taking some vacation time?
Very good. Can I ask you about taking some vacation time? Well, Miss Mills usually handles vacation requests.
Yeah.
So he's referring her to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. And this vacation time, it should be payment. It's
I don't
so
understand your question.
yeah, I know. It's it should be payment time or like
You should get paid for vacation time.
yeah.
But it depends on your company's policies, and they'll probably cover that too. But usually scheduling vacation requires you to talk to a supervisor or somebody like that. For instance, if they tell you that after a year you'll get 2 weeks vacation or 1 week or whatever they tell you, then you ask for that time off after you get to the time where you've earned it. On my son's paycheck, he earns a little bit of vacation time every payday, and it accrues on his paycheck so you can see how much you have available. And then when you're able to take it, you ask permission to take it at a certain time. And then you get paid for it because it's time that you've earned.
Yeah.
So you should get paid for vacation time.
Yeah.
Usually when somebody says vacation time, it's paid vacation time.
It's pay.
Usually.
Yeah.
If you don't have any accrued, you may not get paid if you have to take time off. So, but vacation generally implies that you'll get paid.
Okay.
All right, so that was vacation time. Let's go to number 5. The answer is I'm not sure. I'll look at the schedule next week and see what I can do. What's the question?
Could I change to evenings?
Yes, could I change to evenings? Very good. We can't do part B because we can't listen to the track. So let's skip over to part C at the top of the next page. Rewrite the underlined sentences to ask permission. Change the imperative statements to questions with can or could.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one says, I don't know what this word means. Give me your dictionary. That's an imperative statement. Give me your
Mm-hmm.
dictionary. That's an imperative statement. They want you to change that to a question. Um, so how would you ask for the dictionary in a question?
Could I borrow your dictionary?
Yes, absolutely. Could I borrow your dictionary? Number 2 says, I have to take my wife to the doctor. Let me have the morning off. That's an imperative statement. Change it to a question.
Yeah. Could I
Could I have the
could
morning off?
the morning off? Yes. Could
Much better. Could I have the morning off?
could
Or
I?
may I have the morning off? Either one would be correct.
Yeah.
And you might ask the question is, may I have the morning off to take my wife to the doctor? So it might be a better way to ask the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, I really want to make some extra money. Give me some overtime hours next week. You wouldn't tell your boss, give me some overtime. How would you ask?
Can I take some
Can I
overtime?
get some overtime? Can I get some overtime next
Yeah.
week? Could I have some overtime next week?
Yeah.
Could might be more correct in this case because you're talking to your
Could.
manager. Could I
Yeah.
have some overtime hours next week?
Could I have overtime hours next week? Okay.
Number 4, excuse me, I need to ask you something. You might say, may I ask you something?
May I ask you something?
Yes, yes.
May I ask you something?
And number 5, I want to take some time off, cover my hours this weekend. Instead, you would put that in a question. Could
you cover my hours
Yes.
this weekend?
Yes, could you cover my hours this weekend? And number 6, it isn't time for my break, but I want to get something to eat. Let me take a break early. You wouldn't say that, you would ask a question. May I take my break early? Or could I take my break early?
Mm-hmm. May I take my break early?
Yes. In part D, it says read the situations. You need to ask your supervisor for permission. What can you say when you're asking for permission? They want you to write questions with can or could.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 says you work as a security guard at night. You have to go to a parent-teacher conference next Wednesday night. You want the night off. So you ask your manager, could I have next Wednesday night off? Now you notice he's asking way in advance. So he's not waiting till the last minute. He's asking way in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 says you want to take classes in the evenings. You want to change to the morning shift. How would you ask? Could probably be appropriate here.
Yeah. Could I change could I change to morning shift?
So that I can take classes in the evenings. Yes, absolutely. Could I change to morning shift? That would be fine. Number 3, you're working until 3:30 today. You need to pick up your son at school at 4 o'clock. You want to leave 15 minutes early.
You need to pick up your son. So you want to leave 15. Could I leave 15 minutes early?
Yes, very good.
Could
Okay, you work in a store. You want to take some classes in the morning, so you need to have evening hours. How would you ask?
could I take evening hours or
Could I change to evening
change?
hours? Could
Yeah.
I change to evening hours?
Change. Wow, we finished the workbook.
Now we're going to finish the review and then we'll be done. Okay?
Okay.
Complete the conversations use can, can't, could, and have to.
Mhm.
So the first one says, excuse me, this is my first day. Can I ask you something?
Mhm.
Olga answers, sure. What do you want to know? Well, do we have to wear these uniforms?
No, we don't. We have to wear our own shirts and pants, or
Or
we
we
can.
can. I
We
think it's
can.
they have uniforms available if you want to wear them, but she's saying no, we don't. We can wear our own shirts and pants if we want.
Yes.
But we
Uh, Pants if we want, but we have to wear
Yes.
work boots.
No sneakers or sandals. It's for safety. If you
Mm-hmm.
look at the safety reminder over to the right, it says all employees must wear work boots.
Mm-hmm.
No sneakers or sandals allowed.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nora says, I see. One more
Mm-hmm.
thing.
I see one more thing. Can could I ask you a favor?
What is it?
I'm supposed to work Monday, but I can't. You are not on the schedule for Monday. Could you take my shift?
Very good. Could you take my shift? Sure, but ask Mr. Wang first.
We have to get his permission.
Very good. And that's something to remember. Anytime you want to change anything, you need to make sure you have approval from your supervisor or your
Yes.
manager.
Okay.
Complete the conversations. Write information questions with the words in parentheses. So they're telling you what question words you're supposed to use.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, the answer was give your vacation request form to your supervisor. The question was, who do I give my vacation request form to?
Mm-hmm.
Number two, the answer is Kevin can take his break at 12:30. What's the question?
What time do Kevin
What time
or sorry,
can
can Kevin take his break?
what time can Kevin take his break? Kevin can take his break at 12:30. Number three, you store the floor cleaning equipment in the hall closet.
Uh, w- mm, where 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 do you store the floor
Where do
cleaning?
I store? Where do I store? You store, so you're going to ask the question, where do I store the
Yeah,
floor cleaning
where
equipment?
do I
I store
store
the floor cleaning equipment.
the floor cleaning equipment?
And
Mhm.
number four, Tanya works on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week. So what's the question?
Which day does Tanya work?
Very good. Which days does Tanya work? And number five, I worked overtime on Thursday and Saturday.
Uh, when you work
When did you
over
work?
when did you work? Yes.
Yes.
When
When
did
did you
you
work overtime? When
work?
did you work overtime? I worked overtime on Thursday and Saturday.
Mhm.
Now, these other ones I usually don't do because let's just look at the problem solving. Sometimes
Mhm.
problem solving is very helpful.
Mhm.
Let's read about Ivan's problem. Ivan started working in a warehouse 8 years ago. He likes the job, but he needs to work more hours. A few months ago, Ivan's boss hired some new employees. His boss gave them a lot of overtime hours. Ivan almost never gets overtime. He doesn't think this is fair. So, what is Ivan's problem?
He didn't get the overtime.
He wants more overtime and he's not
Yeah.
getting it, right? What can he
Yes.
do? Here are some ideas. So, these are some ways you can handle the question. He can talk to his boss.
Yeah.
He can say nothing and get a second job. He can offer to cover other employees' hours, or what? I think the
He can talk
best,
to his boss.
yes, talk to his supervisor. or his
Mhm.
manager, he can ask for overtime hours, right?
Yes.
If
Yes.
other employees are getting overtime, there shouldn't be any reason why Ivan couldn't go to his supervisor and ask, could I get some overtime hours?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I think that completes it, Christine. You
Yes.
can feel free to go through your book if you find any questions that you have.
Yes.
Um,
Sure.
you can always call me or text me, and I'll see if there's something I can help you with. So anything you come across that you'd like a little help with, please feel
Yes.
free to let me know, and I'll see what I can do to help you.
Okay. Could I ask you about something different totally about
Absolutely,
what we said?
absolutely.
Okay. If you're planning to buy a new house or buying a house,
Right?
and you have two choice, house the houses is one of them is behind you is a creek, the creek,
Okay.
and the other house is behind you is the line of tree. Which
Okay.
one you prefer?
Well, it depends on how you feel about that creek. Because you have small children, you may or may not want to have your children close to the creek. Also, for me, I have a problem with mosquitoes,
Yes.
and I wouldn't want to be next to the water because that's a breeding ground for mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm.
When I get bit by mosquitoes, I get great big welts.
Mm-hmm.
Mosquitoes really bother me a lot. So I
Yes.
wouldn't want to be in a place that encouraged mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my personal preference.
Yes, I know.
Um,
Yeah.
but if you're trying to, I mean, if you're really into doing things outdoors, a creek can be a great place to teach your kids about things that they might find in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So I had an apartment that I was right next to a creek, and I really liked it because I could go fishing. I could take my daughter and go fishing in the
No,
creek.
it is not for a fishing. It's a Greek for the raining or
Okay, so
something
it's
like
just a
this.
water drainage. There's no fish.
Yes.
But
Yes.
what do you like? I mean, in the creek, you're going to find certain kinds of things that live near the water. You might find that the creek draws other kinds of wildlife, like deer and raccoons. Any other
Yeah.
kind of wildlife might come to the creek. That's whether or not you want to be close to that.
Mm-hmm.
You might rather have the trees. It's really up to you. It's your preference. What kind of things
Mm-hmm.
are important to you?
And
So,
how about the trees? What is the disadvantages of the houses behind you? A tree is a big tree, or
okay, I like the
it?
trees. When
Yes.
we um when we moved into our new house that we built, well, it's been over almost 30 years ago. We built a house, and
Mm-hmm.
when we built our house, there were no trees. This used to be farmland, and there were no trees at all. So the first year we lived here, we planted 21 trees because I like trees.
Wow.
Now, you don't want your trees to be too close to your house where if there's a bad storm, it'll fall on your house. You don't
Yeah.
want that. But trees are nice. I mean, they give you shade. In the wintertime, they lose their leaves so the sun comes through.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what kind
I
of
like tree
trees?
also, but I read that some of trees or some of flowers make the snakes to come and live in it, or and
Trees, you're not going to have much problem with snakes because of trees. Trees aren't going to have cause that much of a problem. Um, you're more likely to have snakes near a creek than you are near the trees.
oh really? Yeah.
Yes, yes. Um,
So
you
the trees is better than the creek. I am
well,
s- I'm scared for
I,
the
I
snakes. I'm
understand.
scared.
I understand. Um, I think trees are, you're less likely to have snakes if you have trees. If you're out by a creek, you're more likely to have snakes. But
Snake.
in this part of the country, you could have snakes anytime, anywhere. So
Oh
I don't know that one is better than the other.
yeah.
We have a bed of shrubs on one side of the house, and we were weeding it, pulling all the weeds and cleaning it out, and I
Mm-hmm.
found a nest of copperheads.
Oh my
Thanks.
God.
That was very scary to me,
Yeah.
but they were little tiny babies. I mean, it was a nest. But I
Mm.
left that flower bed and I haven't gone back to it since.
Yeah.
So you just never know where they're going to be. Um, Now, black snakes, the big black snakes, they're harmless. They're a good snake to have because they eat mice and things that you don't want around your house.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a good snake. But for the most part, if you don't want to be around any snakes, I would stay away from the creek. I think the creek is where you're more likely to have them.
The snakes and the animals and yeah.
Right. And it's up to you what's important to you.
Near a creek, you got to consider floods,
Well, it's it's a runoff creek. It's not
especially those kinds of things too.
well, if you have a lot of heavy rain near a creek, the water could come up. So it depends on how close your house is and how high your house is compared to the creek.
Yeah.
So we've had problems at our house with we have a basement, and we had problems in the beginning when there was a lot of rain. Our basement would flood. So you want to be careful about that too. I don't know how if the house is well elevated above where the creek is, it wouldn't be a problem.
It was yeah. But at all, I think the tree it's more is more safely than the
Probably.
Yes.
Probably. It depends on what's important to you, but yes,
Yes.
probably.
Find out how high the water came in 2010.
So you're probably a lot better off with trees.
Yes. Okay, Miss Elsa. Yes.
Anything
Thank you.
else?
No, thank you so much. I just ask your opinion. I trust
understand.
you.
Yes. Well, thank you. That's a good
thank you.
thing. Well,
Thank you
if
so
you
much.
ever think of anything that you just want to know something more about, I will be
Okay.
glad to help you any way I can.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. You take care, Christine.
Thank you. So, next Thursday we will not take anything, right?
No, there's no reason to. We finished the book.
Yes. Yes.
So unless you have a specific question or something, just text me. If you want to Zoom, I can Zoom anytime.
I think this next Thursday I can't because we will be in the church.
Right.
So, but if I need anything, I will text you.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Sounds great.
Thank you so
Christine.
much.
You
Bye.
take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Now I need to figure out how do I end meeting for all?
There's a button there.
There it is. Well, it wasn't on that little tiny screen.